Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live. And I just had the thought this morning, with Saturday Night Live, they always have their little opening and then it ends with it's yelling, it's Saturday Night Live, And so I had that feeling, it's Tuesday morning live. And yesterday. I don't think I talked yesterday. Yesterday I was in a contraction. I was in like I could feel this this contraction. This kind of like suddenly like there were walls. I was in an enclosure of self, an old self. It was an old feeling. And there was feeling, why? What do I have to say? Why bother? Oh God, I've got nothing to say. Who cares? This whole just feeling of, what's the use? Oh God, But then at the same time, I welcomed this feeling, this contraction, because I knew that I wasn't it. This was not who I am, but this was like a shade, an old shade, some old clothes. Like when you go home, particularly when you were younger, and you went home to see the folks, and when you walked into the house, it was like your old emotional clothes were hanging there, like somebody putting on a hospital gown, where you just walked right in, you just walked right into these old clothes and they just wrapped you in, and you begin to feel the contraction of your childhood or your parental womb, of all that you were trying to break out of, and it was like, back in, very familiar and yet very contracting, like it doesn't fit. Like these clothes don't fit, why? I need bigger clothes, And so then you start thinking, well, how long will this visit last, and so at least this was my experience. So I know it's not everybody's experience but it's that, I think we all have that feeling, or when you meet somebody in the past that you used to be in the company of, and now you go back and you put you put the past back on, and you just don't feel, I'm just different now. Something has changed. This is not me anymore, And this, so anyway, this feeling came over me yesterday, and I couldn't make it go away. That's once these clothes come on, I mean, they're on, and but you have to accept it. So I accepted it. I didn't, and I was curious about it. I said, isn't this interesting? And during the day, also, and this is a correspondence, a resonance I find with the external world. And so the dishwasher plugged up. So I was plugged up and the dishwasher was plugged up, and the water in the bottom, And so I went through. Got to YouTube, fix it and everything, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it unplugged. So, okay, I called up the tech support, and they'll be sending somebody out to fix it. So anyway, that's fine. But the point was that during the whole day, I felt plugged up. And yet I knew this will pass, because I didn't live there anymore. And yet at the same time, I had to experience it. I had to experience and recognize the fact that I didn't live there in these old clothes. And yet at the same time, I couldn't just will them away or do some magical meditative trick or something, you see, to make it go poof. But at the same time, it was okay that it was there, because I didn't have to live there anymore. Yet at the same time, I had to wait for this karmic, its inertia to move through, to let it go through. So I think that's what, I guess what I'm trying to articulate is that when the old mood comes, when the state of mind comes and descends upon you like a cloudy day, it's okay. I mean, cloudy days come. But at the same time, the sun is behind the clouds. And so it's not like you will just wait it out, because you don't. It's just that it's just a cloudy day. It's just an old set of clothes that don't fit anymore. And isn't it interesting? So it's kind of like that. Well, let me just, while you're here, let's talk. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you feel like. It's just like when somebody comes in the house and you, instead of just crossing your arms and saying, oh, when are they going to leave, you become curious about them. And maybe ask some questions, and maybe they start talking about themselves or something. So you become, that's what accepting means. When you accept something, it means you are open to it and you're curious, And so I think that's what I was doing yesterday. And today it's gone. And I'm back, you see. But at the same time, I'm back with a little question. I'm back with a little, why am I doing this? But I looked at the Tolle quote, and I'm tired of Tolle quotes. I mean, it just doesn't, it seems to be old clothes now. So what are the new clothes? I don't know. And that's the point, I think, that when you get tired of all your old clothes, you're going to be naked. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be exposed. And that's why we have clothes. I think, these, and that's why we don't want to get rid of them. We don't want to be open. And the interesting thing about live, Saturday Night Live, that because you're exposed to eras, so there's a certain vitality to it. And so I think that's what attracts me to Facebook Live, is that I'm exposed to error. I'm at risk. I'm exposed. And the less I know what I'm going to say, the more exposed I am. You see, the less I know what I plan, the less plans I have, the more vulnerable I am. And that's a good thing. I'm discovering. So I don't pick up the last thread of planning, the last thread of protection was my Tolle quotes. As long as I had a Tolle quote, I could come back to that, and reference back to that, and it would kind of like be a safe place, Oh, well, I'm getting a little off course here, so let me go back to the Tolle quote, and that will kind of like be my anchor, But what happens if you pull up all the anchors? What happens if you pull all your references to the past? What happens if you pull up all of your protection, you see, from exposure? You see. And we, there's the metaphors for this all around. Don't expose yourself. Put on sunscreen. It's every, dress warmly now. Don't be exposed to the weather. And the references are always around there. Don't be exposed. Don't be at risk. Have plenty. Wrap yourself in insurance policies. Don't be at risk. Don't go ill prepared. I mean, my wife belongs to Rotary, and every week she gives a little 1 minute talk, and she'll prepare for that 1 minute all week. I mean, I could blow 1 minute away in a minute. I'm blowing minutes away, but that's fine. I'm not criticizing what she does, because it is important. If you're going to talk about Rotary in 1 minute, you have to, be prepared. But I'm not limited by a minute, fortunately. So I've got plenty of time to expose myself here. So anyway, what happened today? Well, I've been reading. Okay, this is the other thing. So instead of being grounded in like Eckhart Tolle, I mean, I do have to have some grounding. Otherwise, I'm just babbling like an idiot. So what's the grounding? Well, I have to ground myself in my everyday experience. So what am I experiencing? That's my ground. That's your ground. Your experience is your ground. And by the way, your experience should be the reference for truth. In other words, if something is to be true or not, you should not check it with some other authority, but check it with your experience. Let your experience be the guide. Let your discernment, your truth, your eye, your discernment be the final judge of whether something is real or not. But anyway, so I need to reconnect with my everyday experience. And by the way, that was the original idea for these talks, which I call Buddha in the landfill. So the Buddha in the landfill is your everyday life, your everyday home, your life, your job. That's the landfill. And we just go by it looking for someplace else. It's just a place where the seagulls feed, you see. But in actuality, it's Pandora. Everyday life, everyday world is Pandora. It's full of wonder and excitement and new things to discover. But we kind of like look at it as a landfill and just look to tomorrow for Pandora, you see. So anyway, I need to come back to Pandora. I need to come back to my everyday life, boring as it is. But that's its benefit, you see. I'm not sucked up into institutional work and all that. You see, I have plenty of time to digest and chew on small everyday life things. Stepping in a hairball in your bare foot from the cat, that feeling that little, you're walking across the floor and you feel something wet and soft and but then so you check the button. No, I don't. So you get the flashlight and you go back and you hunt for the source of that wet, soft feeling on the bottom of your foot. There it is, and you get the Kleenex and you pick the hairball up. So this hairballs are a great metaphor, by the way. Hairballs are like those old clothes. So yesterday I had a hairball, and this old feeling of what's the use? What do I have to offer? I'm not worthy of anything. I don't have anything worthy to say. I've exhausted it all. It's all meaningless. It's all nothing. Why bother? You see that feeling, but you see that is the end. It is also the beginning. And so yesterday I recognized that something was dying. Something was letting go. And when you let go of something, when you let something die, when you let something that you valued and something that you wore, when you let it go, it's not the end. While it is the end, it is also the beginning. But you don't know what the beginning is, you see. So when you die, you don't know what the beginning. That's why we fear it. Well, I don't know what's going to happen after death, so I'm afraid. I don't know what's going to happen if I let go of these old emotional clothes that I grew up in. These old emotional feelings and these old thoughts of my story of who I am. I don't know who I'd be if I let that go. I'd be vulnerable. I'd be exposed, you see. I'd be naked. I would have no protection. I would have no armor, no insurance, no lesson plan. I'd be in free fall. I'd be winging it. I'd be outside the box. I don't know. I might screw up. I might be embarrassed. What will people think? What will people think, you see? So my wife grew up in a small town. And the mantra, that the glue that keeps a small town together, what will people think? So you're always questioning. You're always being held in the old clothes. You're always wearing your persona. You're always wearing your ego because it's safe in there and people will, you're protected from what people will think. So this protection is very odd. It's very odd that thinking needs to be protected from thinking. So I think I'm this, and I'm afraid of what other people will think about who I think I am. Isn't that odd? It's like a vice of thinking. I think who I am and I'm trapped in it because I think I'm not worthy. I think I shouldn't do this, or what I'm afraid what will people think. That's a thought. And so I'm trapped in my own thinking of being inadequate because of fear of what other people will think. I'm afraid that other people will think I'm inadequate. Isn't that madness? Isn't that insane? I'm trapped in a vice of my own. What I think other people are thinking is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about what they're thinking. And so I'm trapped in my own thinking of myself because of my own thinking of what other people are thinking. It's a double bind. This is a closed system. This is a full body trap that you can't get out of. Because every wiggle you do creates an opposite wiggle. So it's this, and I was just watching before I came here, and here again, this is how being grounded in your everyday mind works. Being grounded in your everyday world works when you pay attention to what's going on as a whole instead of a fragmented unit. Everything is interconnected. Everything is whole. But we experience it like a smashed cup, you see. Instead of this cup being, coffee's almost not warm. Instead of experiencing this cup, the outside and the inside. So when the cup is whole, the outside and the inside, I can drink from it. But if I smash this on the floor, I can't drink from it. And I can't separate the inside from the outside. But I think I can. So this fits. So the inside is what I think about myself. The inside is that I think I have to be protected. I'm unworthy. I really can't. Why should I do this? Or whatever I'm thinking about myself is the inside. And then what I think other people are thinking about me is the outside. You get the idea here? The inside is shaped by the outside. The outside is shaped by the inside. But I separate them. I separate what other people I think are going to think about me. So I need to protect my inside. I need to have protection, you see. So that protection, that fear of the outside is the separation. The fear of the outside, what people are thinking, separates the outside from the inside. And of course, you can't drink from the cup. When the outside and the inside are not together, it's like you take the cup and smash it on the floor. You can't drink from it. You see, you can't drink from this cup of life. But anyway, the point was that to make your everyday world your ground, you have to connect the dots. You have to connect the inside and the outside. By being aware and by being noticing. Notice everything. This is being mindful, basically. Not just being mindful of the feeling of the cool softness of stepping on a hairball in your bare feet. Fortunately, we used to have a little poodle, and when the poodle put something on the floor, it wasn't a hairball. But a cat hairball is like a poodle dropping, but it doesn't stick on your foot. So that's the point. Anyway, so noticing the sensation of the soft, somewhat moist hairball on the bottom of your foot is not making a, oh damn cat, we've got to get that. Now you're not noticing, judging and complaining, and we got to do something about this damn cat. And oh crap, I stepped in a hairball. All of this stuff is just protecting yourself. That's the inside of the cup. And the outside of the cup is that damn hairball. Oh no. But when you just connect the dots, you see, then it's just this. It's just a sensation of a soft, somewhat little bit warm, or maybe cool sensation on the bottom of the foot. And then, of course, after that sensation, there is the thought, oh, it's a hairball. And then you get a flashlight so you can find it. This particular case, it was on a gray rug, so it looked like the rug. And then you get a Kleenex and you pick it up and drop it in the thing, you see. But it's all part of the context of the whole life. It's not fragmented out as this should not be. No, it should be. It can't be anything else but that. So there's an acceptance of your everyday world that allows you to connect the dots and to keep your cup whole instead of broken into the inside at war with the outside. You see the point I'm making? The inside, when we live inside a self-enclosed thought world of I should be this way and I shouldn't be that way, and I'm afraid of being different than I am, and I need to be protected, and that insulated thing, that cocoon of thought and feeling and old clothes, the cocoon of old clothes, you see, separates you from the exterior world. And now the world is becoming an enemy. It shouldn't be this way. People are thinking about me. Why is he looking at me? What did I do? Does he see my vulnerability? Does that person know how stupid I am? Does that person know that I'm afraid? What will people think? You see, we look around and it's, oh, damn, it's a hairball. Oh, this is a bad sign. Oh, no, the dishwasher's plugged up. Oh, my God, it's going to cost $80 to have somebody come fix it, and I don't have the money. And, oh, shit, why did this happen? And the thing is only 2 years old. And here we go. The outside of the cup and the inside is getting farther and farther apart. You see? And so we just reverse the thing. We reverse it. We want the inside and the outside of the cup to come together. Then I can drink from this elixir of life. Then I can drink from this moment. And then I can be whole. And I can be at home. And the cup is not broken anymore, you see. So I need to reverse this. And how do we do that? We have to die. Yes. The inside of the cup, in order to be reunited with the outside of the cup, has to give up. And the only way to give it up is when the feeling of contraction and the feeling of being contained comes back. And we allow it to be there. We allow it to be there like the hairball on the floor. I allow the hairball to be there. The hairball has a right to be there. I welcome the hairball. I step in the hairball. I pick the hairball up and put it in the trash. And I go on, and nothing happened. In other words, it did not separate the cup. It did not break the cup. It did not put us... One thought, in Zen it says, one thought separates heaven from earth. One thought can separate the inside from the outside of the cup, and the water you can't drink from it. There's no one taste, you see. One taste is when the outside and the inside are one, and you drink from the cup, and it tastes. You taste it. You can't taste life unless the cup is whole. But we have to bring the cup back together because it's broken. Our particular culture has broken the cup. And so you have to put it back together. The culture's not going to do it. Corporations aren't going to do it. The government's not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. You have to do it. You have to put your cup back together. You have to drink. Nobody can drink for you. Your experience is the experience of the whole damn cosmos. You see? It's not like an isolated little worm thing. This is the full Monty. The whole show is experiencing itself through you. But you have to put the cup together in order to know that. As long as your cup is separated, and what will people think? And oh my God, there's a hairball, it's a bad sign. Or my dishwasher's broken again, or a dishwasher's plugged up. Oh my God. You see? All of this, oh my God, why should this happen, you see, is basically the cup being split. And just one thought can separate the inside from the outside. Just one thought. A thought unnoticed, a thought identified with, a thought believed in can separate the inside from the outside. It's not the thought, it's the believed in thought. So you step in the hairball. You have the thought, I stepped in a hairball. But the reality of it was the sensation of that soft, moist feeling on the bottom of my foot. That's all it was, you see. That's the real, that sensation, that experience. On top of that experience, then immediately the thinking comes, oh my God, a damn hairball. Got to get rid of the cat. Or whatever the problem is, you see. So so we get grounded back into experience. We get grounded back into it's just this. The dishwasher broke. It's just this. The dishwasher's plugged up. It's just this. It's going to cost. I tried to fix it. I didn't. It's just this. I called the home front guy. He's $80 to come fix it. It's just this. Everything is just this. It's when thought comes in and says, oh no, it's more than this. And that's when we start feeling enclosed. And the cup separates the inside and the outside. And it gets farther and farther away, And I get more angry and more contracted. As the farther away the outside from the inside gets, I feel more enclosed, more embittered, more angry, more disturbed, more pissed off, you see. I can't get the taste of life back. I can't get the taste, you see. I can't be live anymore. I got to be live. So here I am. I've talked for 30 minutes. And this is Tuesday Morning Live. It's just this. So I don't know if it'll be like this tomorrow. I don't know. But right now, it's just this. And thanks for dropping in.